distinguish. But like I say, don't be alarmed. Those fumes are non-toxic. They're just what you're doing is you're kind of upsetting the resin by sanding through it. Okay, fellas. This wing is very well prepared for installation. Yeah, old Frankie Dave forgot to put some AC glue right there. You gotta file this down right here, fellas. And what it does, it just removes that seam. It's magic. When you shoot some primer on it, boy, there's not a seam on this thing, fellas. Yeah, right over here. I think I spoke too soon. And needs a little more help. Alrighty, come over here and it's gone. That seam is gone like Houdini. There was a seam there, I'm sure you want there no more. One wing. Right here, fellas, using this sanding board right here. I'm sanding out that little seam on the leading edge. That was your pilot lead right there that you needed on here to locate your wing. I'm sanding it out pretty good right there. And what I'll do is give it another fine bead of the ACC on here. That way I'll give it a good sanding. It's going to fit, that dust is going to fill in that seam right there. Don't save old Frankie Day some work. It's work enough, work on a resin kit alone, not going to filler all the time. So that stuff right there I like to stay away from. So always use sports shit, fellas, when you're filling in them seams like that when you're using a sanding board. Yeah, this is a pretty relaxing little kit to work on, guys. You know, it's pretty much done for you. All you gotta do is assemble it together, and you shouldn't be too bashful or too shy about with resin kits. The only outstanding feature about being shy with resin kit is the cost. Somehow resin kits are very expensive opposed to plastic. I can see why, because they get molds. You only make so many of that mold, and that mold wears out. That's it, guys. You bought the last of the lot. So actually you're paying for the serviceability of that mold. And that mold ain't maintained or redone. The kit's a dinosaur. Still needs filler there, fellas. No problem there. I got to put some filler right there. When that's done, you got some panel lines right here. I can rescribe them, no sweat. I did that on the fuselage. So this wing right here is ready for installation. Right over here is, come out here and the wing right here, make sure everything is completely straight, and all the flash is gone, because you don't want no flash. Working on resin kits, fellas, is a whole new world. And like I say, one thing about resin is it's not too forgiving. And one little slip like this, you snap, it breaks up. It's very brittle. It reminds me of the plastic that's used in Hello kits. Now I have two of them. I got one in my stash pile, one I built already. It's the Heller HMS Victory 1/100 scale. That's a beautiful kit, guys. Anybody's got that kit in their stash, decide someday to build it, the word of the heat is, don't use the kit's yard arms, the kit's mast, or nothing. The only thing that's wood, you use that kit, is wood doweling. Make sure they're replaced. If you got a nice little lathe, you can taper out your mast and everything. Same thing with the yards too. So somehow with Heller's plastic, it's like that with resin. It's very brittle. It don't if you bend it just a tad, it'll snap on you, and it's very hard to glue it back together again. It's virtually shot. So anybody's got that Heller kit of the HMS Victory, make sure that the mast and the yards are substituted with wood dowel. Okay, guys, that wing is about ready to be installed. I've got the fuselage over here. We're going to take a dry fit over here and we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah. Flush from the bottom too, fellas. Yep. It fits good. Sometimes, fellas, when you build these things, if you leave a gap in it like that, a lot of guys just keep sanding. By the time you're sanding, you're making that gap bigger where the wing rib, where the wing root joins into the flay of the fuselage. So the secret is, fellas, if you got a gap too big, you can't rely on filler to do the job. It's always best to get a piece of styrene plastic and cut a small sliver of that out and fill in the joints in here. That way, when you sand real good, you use an ACC glue like I did on the wings. Once that's all sanded down like it quite well, just a little smidgen of filler will finish up the job. That's one less job to worry about. Well, I'm pretty well happy with the dry fit there. I gotta give this thing a good sanding tomorrow, fellas, some wet and dry sandpaper. Okay, I've got this wing all done. Now I'm going to start on the other one. And what I'm going to do is, my goal is go ahead and get the wings glued to the fuselage and let it dry overnight. And tomorrow I'll do some filling and some wet dry sanding and have another video. Okay, guys, this wing is ready for installation. So I'll put it aside over here. Have me a swig of sarsaparilla right here. This is out of my norm, fellas, making videos. I feel like I'm more relaxed than I am by doing this, making this video here than actually in the building, than making the airplane itself. See, fellas, the other wing had no problem right there. It was pretty well flush up against the wing rib right there. As I did so, right here, we'll get a little closer. Let me this thing back here, fellas. Alrighty. Well, right here, as you can see, there's a lip. This should be right about like that. That's pretty well flush right there. By doing that, making it flush like that, the problem is that this at the trailing edge is going to be out of alignment like this. So, remember the problem is, fellas, you got to fill that in with some sheet styrene right there. And that's when sheet styrene comes in. And make sure that when it's sanded, it's sanded flush right across up to here. Make sure it mates evenly there. And that'll fit on that wing rib right there. Somehow when this stuff shrunk, it more or less came back more. Now the other wing wasn't like that. Now by bringing this over, about like it is right there, is going to misalign the nacelles and everything else. So the best thing to do is just follow suit with it. And I'm going to dry fit it with a fuselage. And sand with styrene when we need it on this thing. There. Good fit, fellas. I don't think I'll be needing some plastic after all. It kind of worked its way over like the way I wanted it. So then you take your sanding stick. Make sure, you guys, when you're sanding down wing leading edges, don't file straight. By filing straight, you're going to put a hell of a nick in it. So you gotta more or less go with the airfoil. That's perfect right there, fellas. That's perfect. I couldn't ask for any better than that. And put some AC here. This time put some of the cowling there. And by sanding these leading edges here, fellas, like I said in the last one, it fills it in. It fills in that seam by using the kyrite and the fine shavings from the resin itself. So that's how it goes right there, fellas. Going pretty good. Yep. And this will be a big bird when I get done, fellas. And the resin kits, got some good kits out there out of resin, fellas, but I ain't too overjoyed with resin. The reason why I got this kit is that it sure beats that Air Model vacuum form kit. I got one of those in my stash pile somewhere. And there's a lot of work on that kit too, by vacuum form. So this right here, to my advantage, I was very fortunate to get this kit. So like I say, fellas, don't take that much to work with resin. You just got to respect it. You just can't go like this. Like if you got a warp in a wing, you just can't twist that warp out, because you'll snap it. It'll break like a twig. So you got to put this thing, for example, with this wing here, you got to put it in hot water, and once it's done, you lay it down. You put a weight on it, lay it flat. When it cools down, it'll be level. It'll never go back to its state again. And it works well, fellas. See, I don't leave no putty there at all on this wing. None whatsoever. Just on the bottom where the trailing edge meets that flap well. And that's got to be filled there using putty. Ain't no problem. And by filling all this stuff in, fellas, it's going to save you a lot of work to do if you had the wings glued to the fuselage, because you got to pick the whole airplane up just to work on it. So it's always best to work on these things subassembly wise, regardless if it's resin, plastic, or balsa wood, or paper. You get a lot done subassembly wise when you get the final assembly all done. Heck, you're spot on done. Well, fellas, I think I'm doing a pretty good job with my first online build. I think I did one before for Jim Parashakis. He had a group build, and I think I was building a Pegasus Japanese Zero or something. I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, these old sanding sticks work real well, fellas. They really do. It's always good when you're sanding, guys, use a nice straight sanding block, sanding stick, emery board, file board, it does not matter. A prolific modeler one time named was Brian King. He's an Englishman. He's a model shipbuilder. His famous philosophy has always been coined by his modelers: the man who sands with his fingers leaves a mark of an amateur. So it's always good to use nice, straight sanding board. That way you don't sand no amateur marks on it. Make sure everything is nice and smooth. Everything's uniform and straight. So right along here, fellas, where my finger's at, this is where it needs filler. A very mild application. And also right here where the bottom wing tip joins the outer wing, the upper wing tip. That's why it leaves that seam there. The seam's pretty well flush, but I just like to be able to put some filler there. That way I know I got